Welcome back to the depths of my twisted childhood, where the only thing more abundant than my acne was my ambition to become the ultimate overlord of the underworld. We're diving back into the DOS days when graphics were pixelated and my sense of morality was even more so. Join me as we revisit the classic Dungeon Keeper Gold Edition, where we'll relive the joy of tormenting heroes, enslaving imps, and generally being the embodiment of evil incarnate. The intro to Dungeon Keeper Gold Edition is still as captivating as it was back in the day. Coming from a background of playing games like Super Mario and Quest for Glory, the 3D animation and pre-rendered cutscenes seemed like the epitome of cutting-edge graphics. And let's not forget the face-melting metal soundtrack that perfectly complements the game's dark humor and tone. Unfortunately, due to copyright restrictions, the game's audio is muted in this video. But trust me, the soundtrack is worth experiencing in all its headbanging glory. If you're interested in hearing the music and experiencing the game for yourself, I highly recommend tracking down a copy and playing it on your own. To me, the intro to Dungeon Keeper Gold Edition conveys the sense of fun and creative freedom that the developers at Bullfrog had during the game's development. This was a time before the rise of AAA games and the pressures of modern game development. You can almost feel the enthusiasm and playfulness that went into crafting this twisted and humorous world. One of the things that really sets Dungeon Keeper apart is its cast of strange and fantastical creatures. From the lowly imp to the majestic dragon, each creature has its own unique personality and role to play in your dungeon's ecosystem. And let's not forget the sheer joy of playing the bad guy, building traps, torturing heroes, and generally causing chaos and mayhem. It's a refreshingly unique take on the traditional fantasy setting, and it's a big part of what makes Dungeon Keeper such a beloved classic. And now it's time to start our new game of Dungeon Keeper. As we embark on our journey to become the ultimate overlord of the underworld, we're greeted by the game's signature humor and charm. The map screen, which sets the stage for our campaign of terror, is accompanied by a delightfully dry and sarcastic narration. As we scroll through the various towns and villages, our narrator provides a tongue-in-cheek tour of the local attractions, from the quaint little villages to the bustling metropolises. It's hard not to chuckle at the narrator's wry observations, which perfectly capture the game's offbeat sense of humor. And yet, beneath the humor, there's a sense of foreboding, a reminder that our ultimate goal is to undermine and destroy these peaceful towns and enslave their inhabitants. Now that we've selected our first target, the town of Eversmile, it's time to start building our dungeon empire. Our ultimate goal is to protect our dungeon heart, the central hub of our underground lair, while attracting and enslaving creatures to do our bidding. We begin with a small, empty cavern and a handful of gold. Our first priority is to build essential rooms that will attract and sustain our creatures. We'll start by constructing a treasury, where we can store our gold and other treasures. Next, we'll build a lair, where our creatures can build their nests and rest. But to attract creatures in the first place, we need to claim a portal. This will allow imps, flies, beetles, and other creatures to stumble into our dungeon and become our loyal minions. To reach the portal, we'll need to tunnel through the surrounding rock, using our trusty pickaxe-wielding imps to dig our way. As we expand our dungeon, we'll also need to build a hatchery. This is where baby chicks will be born, only to be devoured by our ravenous creatures. It's a twisted but essential part of our dungeon's ecosystem. For now, our creature options are limited to imps, flies, and beetles. But as we progress through the game, we'll unlock new and more powerful creatures to add to our arsenal. Let's get started and see how quickly we can build a thriving dungeon empire. Now that we've tunneled our way to the portal, it's time to start claiming the surrounding ground. But before our imps can get to work, they might need a little motivation. You see, our imps can be a bit lazy at times, and they might need a gentle encouragement to get moving. That's where the trusty slap feature comes in. With a quick click of the mouse, we can give our imps let's call it a motivational boost. Slap. Ah, that should do the trick. Now that our imps are suitably motivated, they'll start claiming the ground around our dungeon. This is an essential step, as we can't fortify the walls or build new rooms until the imps have claimed the ground. Watch as our imps scurry around, dancing their little jig and claiming the territory for our dungeon. It's a slow but crucial process, and it'll give us the foundation we need to build a thriving underground empire. And with the ground claimed, we can start building. Let's construct a hatchery, shall we? This is where our creatures will come to feast on freshly hatched chicks. It's a twisted but essential part of our dungeon's ecosystem. As we navigate the depths of our dungeon, you might notice that the controls can be a bit jumpy. It's a bit like trying to herd imps through a spider's web. It's a delicate process, and sometimes things can get a little twitchy. But fear not, dear viewer, for we have a solution to this problem. Behold, the map. With this trusty tool, we can quickly teleport to any area of our dungeon, avoiding the hassle of navigating through the twisting tunnels. It's a bit like having a personal hell-portation service, isn't it? Just select your destination and poof, you're there. No need to worry about getting lost in the darkness or stumbling into a pack of hungry beetles. As I explore the first level of Dungeon Keeper, I have to admit that I'm a bit surprised by its size. I don't remember it being this big when I first played the game all those years ago, but I suppose that's the beauty of revisiting old favorites. You always discover something new. And let's be honest, it's not like I've been busy plotting world domination or anything. Oh, wait. That's exactly what I'm doing. One thing that I do remember, however, is that some levels in Dungeon Keeper have hidden secrets. These can be creatures, gold, or even entire rooms, just waiting to be uncovered. And, as I recall, the key to finding these secrets is to dig, dig, dig. It's a bit like archaeology, but instead of uncovering ancient civilizations, I'm uncovering hidden pockets of gold and monsters. Much more exciting, if you ask me. Many times, these hidden goodies can be found around the edges of the map, just waiting for an enterprising dungeon keeper like myself to come along and dig them up. So, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll start digging around the edges, careful not to accidentally break through my walls and let in a horde of angry dwarves. Because, let's face it, the last thing I need is a bunch of stout, bearded men ruining my carefully laid plans for world domination. It's a delicate balancing act, to be sure. On the one hand, I want to explore every nook and cranny of this level to see what secrets I can uncover. On the other hand, I need to make sure that my dungeon is secure and that I'm not inadvertently creating a doorway for my enemies to pour in. It's a bit like juggling chainsaws, except instead of chainsaws, I'm juggling the lives of my minions and the structural integrity of my dungeon. But with careful planning and a bit of luck, I should be able to uncover all the secrets this level has to offer. And who knows, maybe I'll even stumble upon something truly remarkable. After all, that's what makes Dungeon Keeper so much fun. The thrill of discovery and the satisfaction of building a dungeon that's truly unique. Wait, we're under attack! It seems that those pesky heroes have stumbled upon our humble dungeon. No matter, we're more than prepared to deal with them. Combat in Dungeon Keeper is relatively straightforward. I can simply pick up my creatures from the menu and drop them on the nearest tile to the enemy we've claimed. It's a bit like ordering takeout, except instead of pizza, I'm delivering a swarm of angry flies and beetles. Speaking of which, it looks like one of our brave flies has given its life in the battle against evil. Good. Oh well, more will appear from our portal soon enough. No need to get sentimental about it. Where was I? Ah, yes, exploring the level and uncovering its secrets. Now that the immediate threat has been dealt with, let's get back to digging and see what other surprises this level has in store for us. And, of course, the joy of enslaving innocent villagers and forcing them to work in my gold mines. Ah, the simple pleasures in life. Ah, the joys of revisiting old favorites. As I dig my way around this map, uncovering secrets and uncovering, well, more dirt, I'm reminded of the countless hours I spent playing Dungeon Keeper as a child. There's something special about revisiting the games of your childhood. It's like revisiting an old friend, except instead of a friend, it's a game that you used to obsess over, and instead of nostalgia, it's a mix of nostalgia and embarrassment. Embarrassment that you spent so much time playing a game about building dungeons and enslaving creatures. But nostalgia for the simple joys of childhood. I mean, who needs human relationships or a social life when you have a game like Dungeon Keeper? It's like the ultimate antidote to loneliness. Just you, your dungeon, and the endless screams of your tortured prisoners. Bliss. But of course, it's not just about the gameplay. It's about the memories that come flooding back. Memories of staying up late, trying to finish just one more level. Memories of begging your parents for just 5 more minutes of playtime. Memories of the thrill of discovery when you stumbled upon a hidden secret or a new creature to add to your collection. And let's be real, memories of the frustration. The frustration of having your dungeon raided by heroes, or of running out of gold, or of accidentally locking your imps in a room with no doors. Ah, the joys of Dungeon Keeper. But despite all the frustration, despite all the times I threw my controller across the room, okay, maybe that was just once, I kept coming back. Because at the end of the day, there's just something special about building your own dungeon and filling it with all manner of creatures and traps. It's like the ultimate expression of childhood creativity. You get to build your own world, populate it with your own creatures, and then, well, then you get to torture and enslave them. It's like the ultimate form of playtime. And of course, it's not just about the creativity, it's about the strategy. Figuring out the best way to build your dungeon, the best way to defend it, the best way to attract new creatures and defeat your enemies. It's like a big, complex puzzle. And I am here for it. But I digress. As I continue to dig my way around this map, I'm reminded of just how much I loved playing Dungeon Keeper as a child. It's a game that's all about creativity, strategy, and, well, let's be real, evil. And as an adult, I can appreciate just how cleverly it's all put together. So, here's to Dungeon Keeper, a game that's been delighting and frustrating gamers for generations. May it continue to bring joy, excitement, and a healthy dose of evil to gamers everywhere. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have some digging to do. I hear there's a secret room hidden somewhere around here, and I aim to find it. You know, as I continue to dig my way around this map, I'm starting to think that maybe I was mistaken about the first level having hidden rooms or creatures. Maybe I'm just misremembering things, or maybe I'm just getting my hopes up. But you know what? I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm going to keep digging all the way around this map, just to be sure. Because what if I'm wrong? What if there is a hidden room or creature lurking just out of sight? I know it's probably just my imagination running wild, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Besides, it's not like I have anything better to do, like, say, taking over the world or something. As I dig, I'm reminded of just how much I love the sound effects in this game. The sound of the imps digging, the sound of the flies buzzing, the sound of the heroes screaming in terror. It's all just so wonderfully atmospheric. And let's be real, the act of digging itself can be quite therapeutic. It's a bit like meditation, except instead of focusing on my breath, I'm focusing on the sound of my imps digging through the dirt. But what's really driving me to keep digging is the possibility of discovery. What if I stumble upon a hidden room filled with gold and treasure? What if I find a secret creature that will give me an edge in the game? The possibilities are endless. Wait a minute. What's this? My imps are under attack. It seems that a lone dwarf has stumbled upon my new tunnel and is now attacking my poor imps. Well, that's just not acceptable. I'll not have some pesky dwarf ruining my plans for world domination. Time to take care of this little problem. I'll just drop my beetles into the tunnel and let them take care of this dwarf. It's a simple yet effective solution. And, let's be real, it's also a bit satisfying to watch those beetles swarm and devour my enemies. So, here I go, unleashing my beetles upon this unsuspecting dwarf. It's a bit like a twisted game of dwarf hunting, except instead of guns, I've got beetles. And instead of a hunting trophy, I'll get the satisfaction of watching that dwarf meet his maker. Let's see how this little dwarf likes being on the receiving end of a beetle-based beatdown. And that's what makes Dungeon Keeper so exciting. It's a game that rewards exploration and creativity, and punishes complacency and laziness. So even if I don't find anything, I'll still have the satisfaction of knowing that I tried, that I didn't just give up and assume that there was nothing to find. And who knows, maybe I'll stumble upon something amazing. Maybe I'll find a hidden passage that leads to a secret level, or a hidden artifact that gives me incredible powers. The uncertainty is all part of the fun, and it's what keeps me coming back to Dungeon Keeper again and again. But that's okay, because, as I said, the act of digging itself can be quite therapeutic. And I'm determined to uncover every last secret this map has to offer. So, here I go, digging my way around the map, driven by a combination of determination, curiosity, and a healthy dose of paranoia. Wish me luck. Ah, excellent. My beetles have him cornered now. This shouldn't take long. The dwarf is trapped, and my beetles are closing in for the kill. It's almost anticlimactic, really. I mean, I was expecting a bit more of a fight from this dwarf. But I suppose when you're outnumbered by a swarm of angry beetles, the odds are stacked against you. And there he goes. The dwarf has fallen, and my beetles are claiming victory. Well, that was fun. Ah, perfect timing. The Lord of the Realm has decided to make an appearance, and it looks like he's not even bothering to attack me. He's just standing there, waiting to be killed. Well, I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. Or in this case, a stationary Lord of the Realm. I'll just send my beetles over to take care of him. This should be a cakewalk. I mean, the Lord of the Realm is supposed to be a formidable opponent, but it looks like he's not even putting up a fight. I'll just drop my beetles on him and, well, that's it, really. It's almost too easy. I'm not even sure why he bothered showing up. Ah, it seems I underestimated the Lord of the Realm's abilities. He's managed to single-handedly take out the entire swarm of beetles and flies I sent his way. Well, that's a bit of a setback. But, as I said, there's always more where those came from. My portal is still churning out new minions, and I'll just keep sending them his way until he's overwhelmed. It's a war of attrition, really. I've got an endless supply of minions, and he's just one guy with a sword. Eventually, he's going to run out of health. I'm patient, sort of. Ah, welcome, new last beetle. I've got a special job for you. You see, that Lord of the Realm is still standing, and I need someone to take care of him. And I'm afraid that someone is you. Don't worry, it's a noble cause. You'll be helping me to claim Eversmile as my own, and to spread darkness and evil throughout the land. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. And it looks like you've done it. The Lord of the Realm is no more, and Eversmile is mine to corrupt. Well, that was easier than I thought it would be. Now let the darkness spread, let the evil flow, and let the corruption of Eversmile begin. Thank you all for watching, especially those of you who made it to the very end. I appreciate your dedication and enthusiasm, and your masochism too. If you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like and subscribe for more commentary and gameplay of questionable skill. And if you want to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon community. You can find the link in the description below. Until next week, when I'll be diving back into the world of Dungeon Keeper, keep on gaming and remember, evil is good.